Hi travelers, Tara here, Hidden Lotus Tarot, and I'm coming to you today with a monthly reading, a general reading, for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, um, for September 2016. Quickly, an announcement. I've had a couple of people contact me for Akashic Records consultations. I did answer you back. I have not heard anything back from you in setting up a time. So this either tells me that you didn't get the message or you've changed your mind. But if you are still interested, please check your spam folder because I did answer you back. This is Mercury retrograde and strange things happen. Now, we are coming upon a solar eclipse here September 1st. And we are in a Mercury retrograde. We've got Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, all of those in retrograde. Mercury won't actually be going into retrograde phase until the 30th. And we just had an almost eclipse that occurred, the moon, full moon in Aquarius. And so I was dealing, pre-shuffling the cards for you, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And I had 3 cards fly out. 7 of Swords, and this is Moon in Aquarius. So this is something coming on the eclipse of August 18th that has come up or will be coming up. I have 2 5s that popped out, the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Wands. This is Mars in Scorpio and Mars in Leo. Very strong energies. This is a general reading, and the messages will not resonate with everyone. I have the Sibilas here as well as the Neapolitans for clarification, should I need. In order to find out more about your situation, that requires a personal reading because I can take your birth date and meditate on your birth date with the cards, helping me to tune into your energies, and this will help me to gain more insight into your situation. So again, this is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, a general reading. The messages will not resonate with everyone for the month of September 2016. Knight of Swords, the Hermit. This 3 of Cups has shown up in every single reading that I have done so far. The 2 of Pentacles, the Ace of Chalices. Wow, this is going to be an interesting spread. The 2 of Swords, the 6 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Chalices. 2 6s. Well, let me read upon something right quick, because that 7 of Swords just flew out of the deck, and it is let me read this because I mean, literally just hit the table so hard. Here's the meaning. Barefoot and cowled, a man tiptoes into the night, clutching 2 swords. The rest defend him from whatever he flees. His furtive glance behind suggests an unwelcome and ignoble exit from some unhappy circumstance. Self-preservation has eclipsed all matters of honor and duty. Nobody's hero. He is at least still alive to fight another day. Sometimes it is best to cut your losses. Words may remain unspoken, but the feelings that drive them will not be dispelled. Eventually, your true thoughts will become clear, and you don't necessarily need to be around when this takes place. This will isolate you, and you may spend many icy evenings in the wilderness enduring a bleak existence. Ask yourself if cutting ties is worth this lonely lifestyle. You have a right to speak your mind, and when you are forthcoming and strong, you will never need to cloak your true feelings. Now, I have one ace here and one hermit card. But there's choices here to be made, and there's a lot of conflict surrounding these choices. Perhaps some of you, let me give you the cards. 5 of Chalices, 5 of Wands, Knight of Swords. The Hermit, 3 of Chalices, 2 of Pentacles. Ace of Chalices, 2 of Swords, 6 of Pentacles with the 6 of Chalices. I think that no matter what has been happening for some of you Sagittarians, there has been some new kind of opportunity or some new something to celebrate. Okay, something to celebrate. I think that I feel that some of you have a choice to make. Maybe some of you have been in a relationship and you left that relationship, and during the time that you've been away, you've been doing some thinking about what it is, how you truly feel. Maybe that person, in a sense, was suppressing you in some way, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. Because I see that you had to let something go. You had to just let it go. Up on the thing here, you have these 2 cups. So, but you had to drop some things. And maybe you did leave, just like packed your shit and just walked out. Said, okay, that's enough. I can't take no more. And didn't even say anything. And while you've been away, the Hermit, there's a new opportunity coming in for you. This new opportunity, and I think for some of you this has already occurred. If we look at the imagery here, this is talking about being in the wilderness, and here on this card there's a fountain sitting in the middle of like the forest. There's a full moon in the background. There are new awakenings, new emotional awakenings, but this is also speaking to intuition. There are these oak leaves that speaks to divination or psychism. This is all water energy. Some of you may be dealing with a water sign. So in a sense, it speaks to the eclipse, the full moon eclipse that has just occurred. And if this has not happened for some of you, this will be coming up perhaps around between, let's say, September 16th, because that's going to be the lunar eclipse. But this is in the past. It's also in the future, as you can see here. So this is something that has, I think, been brought about around the full moon or the eclipse situations. Now, eclipses are third-party situations. It could be about cheating. It could be about outside influences. Whatever it is, eclipses always go back. So something from the past has returned. And this is what this is telling me. You've perhaps been separated for a while. And now an opportunity has come back to perhaps rekindle. But as we can see in the past, there were lots of arguments, someone feeling not emotionally perhaps appreciated or not getting what you needed from that person emotionally. And crosswords said, things said, someone being maybe even verbally abusive, um, two people sparring and really hurting each other, having mean thoughts. And you had to separate yourself. You had to take a space from that. But now it's like something, and in a sense, this Three of Chalices is kind of telling me, it's kind of telling me like you have something to celebrate. And this is an odd energy for me looking at the rest of these cards. It says it is a rare and wonderful thing to work together in unison. So much can be achieved when contrasting personalities coalesce to form a common purpose. Establish empathy. Communicate your needs and desires with trusting candor. Seek in turn to meet the needs of others. Do not dwell in differences. All people crave love and acceptance, even if it is expressed in a million different ways. Tune yourself into these quiet voices and see if you can address some of these common crying needs. And in a sense, this is kind of like there's been a lot of tears over this. And maybe you've got an opportunity perhaps to reconnect with this person. Maybe through a work project. It's a common goal, perhaps two people coming together. But this is about choices and options. Okay? And this is trying to keep everything going at the same time. So maybe there are children involved, and there needs to be some coming together on common ground because there are kids. Maybe there's been fighting over children here. Financial arguments, property disputes, maybe. But this is an opportunity either to actually shed those emotions and express them, or it is a time to wash away all of those things. But I see that there's still some issue here. Perhaps you feeling as though there's something you're not seeing, or the person that you're dealing with is not seeing. Of still this icy and feeling alone. This is a quarter moon. We are in a quarter moon phase. I think it's the quarter moon in Gemini, if I'm not mistaken, at 2 degrees, 11 minutes. And Gemini moons, I have one, are more intellectual than they are emotional. So Gemini moons express their emotions through communications, thoughts, and words. They have to talk about the relationship more than show physical expression of it. And it is through the intellectual connection about the emotions that bonds are formed. So this could be why there were arguments and fights if this is a relationship, because the person was not expressing their emotions for you, or you felt they weren't showing their love for you in the manner that made you feel safe and secure. And perhaps this is you being conflicted about this and wondering if this is going to change. And I have this Six of Pentacles here, and this Six of Pentacles, as we can see, this is about children. There's two children here, and one person is standing on all of the pentacles. This person, perhaps this is a relationship where not only was it emotions, but it was also about finances. Perhaps one person made another person feel less than because they had more money to contribute, and felt that the other person wasn't contributing, quote unquote, enough to the relationship. This could be in some type of, maybe you weren't doing enough housework, or you weren't doing it right, or I'm doing all the work around here and you're not doing anything else. One of those situations. But it is also about, if there are children involved, this is really about uh, holding that idea that the child itself is a gift, and that you're going to have to come to some kind of common ground and find some balance in the way that you give and receive to each other for the benefit of this child. And through that, there is some kind of healing that can take place. Okay? Now, I don't see there's only one fire card here. This represents the Hermit, represents Virgo. So this is indeed the time, the 9th month. This could speak perhaps to the number of years that you've been separated. I mean, or months, weeks that you've been separated. The major arcana cards hold more weight than anything else here, because the numbered cards are just simply mundane things. Now I have 2 twos here. And this could speak of a couple. Okay. But it also speaks to balance and duality, and trying to come to grips with whatever this situation is that's being. This 7 of Swords can kind of say that in one respect, maybe there might have been a third party outside. Maybe you weren't feeling fulfilled and you went with somebody else, or the other person did. And maybe for whatever reason, you're being brought back together because you have to finish this. It needs to be completed one way or the other. Again, there's a lot of water here. And a lot of earth. And they went from ice to water to fire and back to ice. And as we know, fire can either boil the water, heat it up, okay? And things can boil over. But also, water can drench and put out the fire, leaving us cold and in ice. Now, in just looking at the imagery itself of the cards, I feel that there's going to be some type of thawing out. Some kind of, I don't want to say stability, but some kind of grounding that will be coming out of this. And it is through this grounding, either that it's coming out or that you yourself will need to figure out how to do. You can come back and immerse yourself in emotions. So I want to look at what this 7 first, because I mean, literally, it shocked me the way that it flew out of the deck. So I want to look at what this 7 of Swords is all about. And this could simply be the healing, a celebration that you're able to heal, because you're able to heal this nasty energy here. I really can't say. This is a very odd spread to me. Yeah, look. You know, this is so odd because it reads sort of like the Scorpio spread. So if some of you are dealing with the water sign individual, perhaps go back and look at that one if you're dealing with the Scorpio individual. But again, this could be any water sign person, because I'm looking at all of the water here, and water can turn to ice. There's water here, but there's also earth here. All right. Alegria, pastime, family, and friends. And maybe this is what this is about. You were hanging out and just kind of going with the flow because that's what, you know, you were expected to do, but you really weren't feeling it. Maybe the reunion, this is a meeting or a couple coming together. Maybe this had to do with the full-fledged relationship. But as we can see, it never materialized into something. It's always just been a consolante sorpresa. It was a consolation. Nothing really comforting in it, just a consolation. And it really speaks to 2 people who have 2 different ways of expressing the way that they feel about each other. And those things not meshing, but like can't move away from, you know, there's something connecting the two of you together. And this very well could be children. Even these look like young girls. This looks like a girl. This is a child sitting in the snow. And so this is a child. So this all looks like children energy, young person energy. This is a full grown adult here. Okay. So let's look at, I'm going to put 3 cards on the top row. The 5 of chalices, 5 of wands, and the Knight of Swords. I mean, this whole thing speaks to some real difficulty. And it does have to do with communications with someone that you know very well. It was someone that's very, very important and that still holds some importance and relevance to you in your emotional world. Perhaps this is having to come back and communicate with this person, or you've heard from this person again. Know that whatever the message is, it is a true message. Let's look at what the Hermit, getting in touch with what the true gifts were in the bond and looking at it as a great success. But the Hermit says this is about seeking the answers within. And coming with this particular card here, the 7 of Swords, it tells me that your thoughts surrounding this, maybe they weren't as pleasant. It's a consolation. And so maybe you need to weigh up what this is all about now. And I think through the space of the Hermit, you're going to be able to look at this past situation and really get some answers for yourself. But this is about gifts and success and a bond. Maybe this was a contract, a marriage, a committed relationship. But there's isolation here. I'm looking at all of the snow in the cards. Let's see what the 2 of Swords is all about. I think this is about 2 people who still don't see eye to eye emotionally in the same way. We have conversations that have gone up in flame. You see, this is a Tower card. This speaks to emotions and sensitivity. And this being, if we want to look at it like, these are emotions that are cold. They are, but being on the fence about perhaps in the past what this was all about, because I see he's kind of looking up back through this area, looking at this. And to me, this is speaking to 2 forms of communicating, emotional communications, perhaps not even having, being able to communicate. 2 people not being able to, even through face-to-face communications, it's just not matching. So this leads me to ask, what is the 6 of Pentacles all about? That you would best be served through a new relationship in terms of staying as friends and coming to some agreement on that. Really. And this is how you're going to heal with the 6 of Chalices. I hope that this message helped. And until next time, namaste.